Some of you know, some of you may not know. IUIC is doing big things in Ghana, Kumasi. We're building a school from the ground up.
So when we talked about it, people didn't believe it. Why? Because they still had a Negro mind. You can't do that. Hell, white man building stuff all over the place. We have no problem with that. But when it comes to us, we can't even organize to come together and do something. How the hell are you going to call yourself a leader and we're afraid to move? I can't stand that spirit.
We make sure our little place looks nice. But back then, the Most High's house, the temple, it had to be what? Rebuilt. And they were being sluggards and slothful about rebuilding it.
We're building a school, IUIC school from the ground up. This is exponential growth. We're going to build a school in each country on the continent of Africa if it be the Lord's will.
Where we at, Isaac?
Micah 4 verse 10.
Come on.
Be in pain and labor to bring forth.
Be in pain. Why does it be in pain? Because when you're trying to rise an empire, it's going to hurt. It's going to take blood, sweat, and tears. The liberties that we got when the forefathers doing the civil rights, there are many liberties you got to run your mouth on the street today. A lot of our people was put to death for that. Dogs sicked on them, beat upside the head, all that kind of stuff. Anytime you try to make a change, it's going to be pain. Message to our ratchet sisters who wanted to twerk up here at Elmina Castle. Ezekiel 24 verse 6, I think I want. Let me look at it. Nope, I want verse 12. It says, she hath wearied herself with lies, about the black woman, the ratchet black woman, and her great scum went not forth out of her. Her scum shall be in the fire. Shame on you!
Shame, 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 shame on you.
Hazelou, we got a bishop on deck. See what I'm saying? Hazelou, we got a bishop on deck. Hazelou, we got a bishop on deck. Hazelou, see my bishop on deck. All the rise on feet, show respect. All these damn dogs get checked. Hey, see what I'm saying? Hey, shout him out. Shout him out. Tuesday. Put in work. Reach the people. See my bishop. He don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday. Shout him out. Tuesday. Put in work. Reach the people. See my bishop. He don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday. Shout him out. Tuesday. Put in work. Reach the people. See my bishop. He don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday. Shout him out. Tuesday. Put in work. Reach the people. See my bishop. He don't play. Hazelou, we got the bishop on deck. On deck. Hazelou, we got the bishop on deck. See what I'm saying? Hazelou, we got the bishop on deck.
Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sisters. Bishop Nathaniel here. You know what day it is. That's right. It is Shout Out Tuesday. It's Shout Out Tuesday. And you know how I love to read your letters of exhortation and your donations of support. But before I do that, I often love to cover a little bit of our hidden history. That's right, our hidden history. So get your libations on, get your diet food, get your comfort food, get whatever you need to relax yourself to enjoy today's episode. All right, so let's look at some history and I'll be right back.
Crania Egyptiaca, Observations of Egyptian Ethnography. All right, this was published in 1844. All right, going over to page 66. Number 8. Negroes were numerous in Egypt, but their social position in ancient times was the same that it now is. that of servants and slaves. So who were the servants and slaves in Egypt? The Israelites. I'll start here. We need go no further than the Jews of southern Spain and compare them with those of Holland and northern Germany to perceive a very striking difference. The Spanish Jew is always dark complexion, and his hair is uniformly black, while the German Jew is often as fair as any German. These are the converts, Visigoths, and has light or red hair with blue eyes. The various shades of color observable among the Negro or African race tends to the same conclusion. Along the coast of Guinea, which is low, marshy, and hot, we find jet black complexions, and this is the very country from which American Negroes have been derived. So they're telling you that the American Negroes, which many come from Guinea, also are the same people as the Spanish Jew that is always dark complexioned, which descend from the Jews of Malabar, descend from dark-skinned Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob must have been.
And it reads, Tashima served as the Japanese civilian administrator of Shensai province in 1939. During his country's war with China, while in Shanxi, he was informed by a Chinese Muslim named Chang, who was employed in his office, that the people of the latter's village were Jews whose ancestors had been forcibly converted to Islam. Tashima was also told that his subordinate townsmen traced their roots to the Jews of Kaifeng. Strong evidence exists, Tashima declares, though he does not say what this evidence is, that the Hatter people of Japan were part of the great Jewish immigration into China, placed by Tashima in the Han period, 202 BCE to 220 CE. After arriving in China, Tashima explains, the Jews were conscripted as slaves to help build the Great Wall. Do y'all see that? Now, that was some good stuff, if I do say so myself. That was some good stuff. Well, right now we're going to take a look at some information given by Tom Hartman, how he explains the hidden history of America's healthcare system. And I'll be right back with my commentary. Now, pay attention. I know some of you are slow. It gets a little boring at times, but pay attention, please. I prefaced it with, I didn't preface it. I ended it with another clip that you've seen before, but both clips tie together. So I need all of you, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And I'll be right back with my biblical commentary.
And not in that I was shocked by it, because I've ceased to be shocked by how racist this country is. But I was shocked that I didn't know it as somebody who's been on this planet for 70 years, and I think I'm fairly well informed. It was that in the 1880s, the same decade that Bismarck gave Germany their national healthcare system, a guy from Germany, Friedrich Ludwig Hoffmann, came over to the United States at the age of 17. And he was a savant, a math savant. He was brilliant with numbers. And he got a gig with the Prudential Insurance Company as an actuary guy. And he started running numbers, and he was the one who discovered the association between working in cotton mills and getting lung fibrosis, smoking cigarettes and getting lung cancer, and being exposed to asbestos and getting the type of lung cancer called mesothelioma.
I'm the lab science director. I know a thing or two about food science. Now, what they have invented, when I say they, I'm talking about the genetic engineers, not only have they found a way to put these genetically engineered traits into food crops, they've now found a way to cause food crops to grow RNA fragments that can be specifically targeted, like bioweapons, to interfere with the physiological processes of targeted species that might eat the food. Now, this technology is called RNA interference technology. It's relatively new compared to GMOs, relatively new. It's being touted now as a technology to eliminate the use of pesticides, because what they're saying is they can cause a corn crop to grow RNA fragments that will kill the insects that eat the corn without having to use pesticides like toxic chemicals that overload the insect nervous system and kill it from nervous system breakdown and so on. This RNA interference technology is a pesticide technology, but it doesn't rely on pesticide chemicals. It relies on RNA fragments in the food. Now, what's disturbing about this is that this technology can be fine-tuned to target a specific race of humans who eat the food.
Wow. So how come European countries have free health care and America doesn't? You ever ask yourself that? Well, the simple answer, as you saw in the video, is because they want to exterminate black people. Why? Why? Because you may, especially you Christians, you fight against this truth. The American black is the tribe of Judah. Now, they're not the only Judites on the planet Earth, but here is where the truth will spring from. Let me show you that. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 12, verse 7. Here's the prophecy. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, that's all the other 11 tribes, do not magnify themselves against Judah. Let's read it again. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. So the prophecy is that God would raise up Judah first.
Attention Israel. Shout Out Tuesday will no longer be hosted on YouTube. For all future viewing, go over to and subscribe to IUIC TV. And remember, stay in the spirit. Shalom, most high in Christ bless.